To understand the scale of the Exodus, we have to start in the fertile region of Goshen. The Israelites had been living in this part of Egypt for 400 years. This chart shows the explosive demographic shift over that time. What began as a single extended family of just 70 people multiplied rapidly, spiking to an estimated population of nearly 2 million. This massive minority terrified the new Egyptian leadership. Pharaoh's solution was absolute suppression. He forced the entire population into brutal state labor and issued a decree to drown every newborn Israelite boy in the Nile. On the eve of the Exodus, the Israelites had the numbers to rival small nations, yet they remained completely fractured, paralyzed by a state apparatus designed to keep them in permanent terror. The catalyst for their escape came from inside the Egyptian royal court. Moses was an Israelite child saved from the river, raised among Egyptian royalty, until he killed an abusive Egyptian guard and had to run for his life. He spent the next 40 years in deep exile, living a quiet, isolated life as a shepherd in the harsh desert of Midian. That isolation ended at Mount Horeb. According to the text, God spoke to Moses from a desert bush that burned brightly but did not turn to ash, ordering the reluctant exile back to Egypt to free his people. A solitary, aging shepherd was tasked with marching into the throne room of the ancient world's most powerful empire and demanding the immediate release of their entire slave workforce. This set up a direct clash of sovereignties. It was Pharaoh's earthly authority measured against a supreme, divine command. When Moses and his brother Aaron delivered the demand to let the people go, Pharaoh dismissed them out of hand. What followed was a systematic dismantling of the Egyptian economy and psyche. This timeline tracks the escalating disasters: water turning to blood, mass amphibian swarms, devastating locusts, and thick darkness. 9 plagues hit the nation in rapid succession. The final strike required specific action from the Israelites. To protect their own families from the coming death of the firstborn, they were instructed to mark their doorframes with the blood of a sacrificed lamb. That night, the death of Egypt's firstborn sons broke Pharaoh's stubbornness. Overwhelmed by the devastation, he finally ordered the Israelites to leave immediately. After 4 centuries of captivity, a population of 2 million people packed their lives and began to march. Their chains were broken by an overwhelming external intervention. But Pharaoh quickly regretted losing his labor force. He mobilized 600 chariots and set out to hunt down the escaping population. The Israelites soon found themselves completely trapped. With the Red Sea in front of them and an advancing military force behind them, panic set in. They believed they had been marched into the desert simply to be slaughtered. Instead, the text describes a miraculous escape route. Moses extended his staff, a powerful east wind drove the sea apart, and the vast crowd crossed the seafloor on completely dry land. When the Egyptian army pursued them into the basin, the towering walls of water collapsed inward, completely engulfing the chariots. The physical threat of Egypt was permanently buried at the bottom of the sea. But that sudden freedom left the Israelites in a highly dangerous, unstructured vacuum. For 4 centuries, every aspect of Israelite life, from their labor to their daily schedules, was dictated by Egyptian state control. Now, 2 million people were moving through a vast desert without a legal system, a central court, or a shared code of conduct. The narrative moves to the rugged base of Mount Sinai. At this mountain, the Israelites began the transition from a collection of former laborers into a structured society. Here, they received a new covenant, a binding divine treaty delivered to Moses. The core of this agreement was the 10 Commandments, a specific code designed to fill their societal vacuum. Look at how this code is structured. The first 4 laws establish a vertical authority, defining the relationship between the people and God. The remaining 6 dictate horizontal social ethics, explicitly forbidding acts like murder, theft, and perjury. While the physical bonds of Egypt had been severed at the Red Sea, this code provided the internal structure required to prevent the group from fracturing in the wilderness. The generation that escaped Egypt never saw the culmination of this journey. Gripped by chronic fear and doubt, they wandered the wilderness for 40 years. Even Moses died on Mount Nebo, just outside the Promised Land. Yet the results of those decades in the dust are clear. They evolved from a fractured mob of laborers who spent their days building monuments for a tyrant into a highly unified society. The Exodus was an escape toward a new moral order. They emerged with an ethical blueprint that would outlive Moses, cross borders, and shape the legal foundations of human history.